What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we are going over a season of Plunder, seasonal weapon from those Ketchcrash activities, expeditions in the No Reprieve Stasis Kinetic Shotgun. This bad boy has that beautiful little slug feel to it, absolutely gnarly for damage inside of PvE, and you're able to slap people out in the crucible with some max range rolls on this weapon. Now, getting into the rolls, first off here at the crafter on the throne roll, we got our PvP roll stacked up for you guys. So first off, we are using that slug frame. We are going range, so we can mat people, making this thing feel like the Chaperone out there in the crucible. Now for me, I threw on full bore again for that increased range, but it does decrease our handling slightly, and we do want a little bit higher handling inside of the crucible to be able to switch between our pulse, our hand cannon, to this weapon. Now in our second slot, we're going with accurized rounds to give us that extra 10 range that it does, pushing this all the way up to 97, as you can see the stats at the bottom, with that 70 impact, 97 range, 33 stability, 60 handling, and 46 reload speed. It does map with that 97 range on it. Now for me, I'm throwing on enhanced steady hands, so kills with this weapon provide additional improved handling for all weapons for a longer duration. So when we get defeats, it'll help us switch on and off of this weapon a lot faster, as well as spreading that to other weapons in our arsenal. Very good for the crucible, chaining those defeats together. Now over in the fourth slot, we're going to go with Swashbuckler, actually, which we have on the PvE God Roll as well for that extra damage. And when you get this thing in the crucible to proc, especially after a melee defeat, getting this to stack all the way up to its ×5, you're able to do a good amount of damage with a body shot from this slug from a very good distance. So if somebody just happens to get scratched, you're able to body shot them with this weapon because of Swashbuckler ×5. So it's a very fun perk in my opinion when it is procced, and there was just nothing else in my personal opinion that felt right for the PvP world. Maybe Headstone if you play Stasis consistently, but that just means that you're gonna have to get your headshots with this, so it's not always gonna happen. So that's why I chose Swashbuckler, and nothing really in these slots makes sense in my personal opinion for a PvP God Roll. Now moving on to the PvE God Roll, where this thing puts out some pretty massive damage for a slug shotgun. It does reload a little slow, so that's why we're stacking it out, starting off with a reload masterwork on this bad boy to get it to stack up a lot faster, especially with its reload at 66 how we have it. Once we get that +10 on it, absolutely super fast. Now we are using extended barrel to give us that increased range with a little better recoil in our stability for that continuous damage, helping very much so in that stability, because like I said, with the slug has a pretty big blowback for continuous shots. So stability inside of the PvE realm does help us a nice little bit. Now for me, I'm going with tactical mag here for our magazines, because this gives us an extra bullet inside of our magazine, stacking it up to 7, as well as keeping our reload speed up at 66. Unlike if you throw on something like a pendant mag or assault mag, it's bringing that reload speed down. So I'm keeping tactical mag on just because that's what I feel, in my opinion, hurt this weapon the most in the PvE realm, was its slower reload speed. Now for me, I'm using a new perk called Pugilist. So final blows with the weapon grant us melee energy, and when we deal melee damage, it briefly improves the handling on this weapon. So this is a very interesting perk, almost like a counter to Demolitionist. Instead of giving us grenade energy, we're getting melee energy. So it's a very good perk to have on the PvE realm, so we're able to spam our melee ability ability, since they are pretty strong in my personal opinion, especially like our Titans with our new Thunderclap, our Hunters inside of their throwing knife, something with Caliban's hands, those exotic arms, and then our Warlock with our Solar Snaps as well as Celestial Fire. Very, very good to get those back consistently inside of the PvE realm. Now, because we're using Pugilist to get our melee back, that stacks perfectly with Swashbuckler, so when we get defeats with the weapon or with our melee, we stack that damage buff up to ×5 immediately with a melee defeat or 5 enemy defeats with the weapons to get that increased damage. So it just pairs perfectly with Pugilist, in my opinion, to keep generating us melee energy so we can keep proccing Swashbuckler, and it's just a nice perpetual feedback loop that we have inside of this weapon. Like I said, a little switch up from the normal Demolitionist perk that we have to get grenades back. We're using Pugilist to get our melees back, so it's a very cool change of pace, in my personal opinion, for the PvE realm. So hopefully y'all can get these crafted at the Throne World. I know they are kind of hard to get 5, especially since we have 6 weapons, so that is a total of 30 red borders just for this season, especially since they can drop. I've had many additional No Reprieve red borders and nothing inside of my scout rifle, which I'm looking for that one last one. So thank you guys so much again for checking out the channel. Truly appreciate it. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.